Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, yeah, Bama wants Tennessee out of the SEC so bad, and they want payback.
I'll get you for this, deputy.
Now, Alabama had kind of the run of the place for a decade and a half with a little fella by the name of Nick Saban, and they got used to it. And the last few years, it's been getting a little bit tricky and a little bit difficult. NIL has really kind of changed the game for good and bad. And Nick Saban didn't care for it, and it led to his retirement. It was about time for him anyway. He was getting up there, and he had a great run. But it definitely played a role.
Don't be a fool. We can do this easy, or we can do it real easy.
And Alabama's not liking their new position, which is not at the very top. Georgia has sort of ascended, and now Texas with the NIL has kind of gone up there too, and Alabama has taken a step back. Now, I don't know how long that'll last. They've got a good coach in Kalen DeBoer, and they did bring in Ryan Grubb, which I call shake and bake, but right now they're kind of one tier down, and it's not sitting well. And there's some anger that's boiling up from that. Now, the Vols have been taking a lot of grief from Alabama, or the Bama Hammer, which is a website down in Alabama, and they want Tennessee kicked out. And I showed you an article the other day from the Bama Hammer, from Ronald Evans, said Greg Sankey should kick the Tennessee Vols out of the SEC, and we went over that, and they were quite serious about it. Well, there's been another article by, again, the Bama Hammer.
Again.
And this one brought up some stuff from the past that I didn't realize Alabama still cared about. Said Philip Fulmer wanted Alabama out of business. Now Greg Byrne should return the favor. This is by a fellow by the name of John Mitchell. Now, if you're old enough, you'll remember that Alabama got in trouble for pay for play back in the day. And Philip Fulmer allegedly played a role in turning them in over that. And it really got Alabama in a lot of trouble with the NCAA and kind of led to them being out in the desert for a while. And that has not been forgotten by those in Alabama that are a little bit longer in the tooth. I do remember it myself. And so that's been brought up during this whole situation with Tennessee and the SEC. And here he talks about that previous article by Ronald Evans suggesting that Greg Sankey should consider kicking Tennessee out. And they were talking about the state legislatures, Tennessee state legislature, ruling that basically made the university ungovernable, not an easy word, in the NIL space. It says the new law spits directly in the face of the NCAA and other member institutions, the SEC. There are guardrails coming for NIL. Tennessee is thumbing its nose at it and essentially saying it will not be bound by the rules. Now, there is some truth in that, but it also ignores the obvious. Number one, this House versus NCAA is not some panacea that's going to fix everything. It's not. It's not going to work long term, and it's because it's a unilateral salary cap, which, according to antitrust rules and laws, is not allowed in this country. And the Sherman Act will play a huge role in knocking this down. And the state legislature, led by our Attorney General, Scarmetti, and also Donde Plowman and Danny White at the University of Tennessee, they don't believe that it's going to survive judicial scrutiny. And we've talked about that at length. I don't think it will either. And so the state of Tennessee, down in Nashville, the legislature, passed a law, and it was recently signed by Governor Bill Lee, that Tennessee does not have to follow any of these House versus NCAA remedies because it's going to get Tennessee sued, the university. And so they have the option of not having to follow it if it gets them in trouble. Now, Tennessee has said they'll follow those rules, but up to a certain point. But again, as soon as Deloitte says this individual can't be paid $1 million or $2 million or $100,000, they know that player is going to sue the crap out of them. And probably the SEC, NCAA, and any false commission they come up with to get NCAA out of the firing squad. So they have the option of bailing on that if they want to. And that is not sitting well with some folks who think that the House versus NCAA is somehow going to fix everything, which it won't. And here in the article it says, what happens in the workforce if you refuse to follow the rules? For the Tennessee fans reading, if you don't know the answer off the top of your head, go ask your union rep at the Knoxville Sanitation Department. The Bama Hammer just doesn't get it.
Scott, you just don't get it, do you? You don't.
They don't get it. They don't understand. It says for years now, and this is where it gets into payback. For years now, Tennessee has attempted to operate as if they aren't governed by the same rules as everyone else. The Jeremy Pruitt era in Knoxville was marred by an embarrassingly obvious pay-for-play scheme that Vols legend Philip Fulmer can pretend he had zero direct knowledge of, but everybody knows the truth. All right, folks, this is where we get into the land of hypocrisy. I want you to look at how this is phrased right here. It says the Jeremy Pruitt era, who used to be defensive coordinator at Alabama, by the way, and they loved him, in Knoxville was marred by an embarrassingly obvious pay-for-play scheme. And they feel like Tennessee should have been hammered for that. Now, Tennessee, to their credit, admitted the problem. They actually found the problem, brought it to the NCAA, gave them the evidence, fired everybody involved, and cleaned house. But I guess that's not good enough for the Bama Hammer. Whereas when they had a pay-for-play scandal, let me show you how they phrased it. They said, over 20 years ago, before Nick Saban, Fulmer ratted Alabama out to the NCAA for paying Albert Means to play football for the Crimson Tide. So when Tennessee does it, it's an embarrassingly obvious pay-for-play scheme. When they do it, it's only because of a bad person by the name of Fulmer who ratted them out, and all they were doing, they were just paying a player to play. That's all. What's the big deal? So when Tennessee does it, oh, it's terrible, worst thing that ever happened. But when they do it, why did somebody rat us out? Those rats. You gotta love the hypocrisy.
My hypocrisy goes only so far.
Oh, it's classic. And you should look, it's the Bama Hammer. It's not the Bama plush toy hammer. It's the Bama Hammer. They're coming at you. So if you're upset about this article, I'm a little bit upset by it. I'm not shocked. It didn't come from the Bama Live and Let Live website. It's the Bama Hammer. Now here they start making fun of the fact that they also lost star Nico Iamaleava this offseason, so they're very happy about that. Said fans and those associated with the program acted surprised when the QB, who only went to Tennessee because of the obscene amount of money they agreed to pay him, would dare ask for a raise. And then it says here, talks about how they probably won't get kicked out of the SEC, but this is a brazen disregard of rules and it shouldn't go unpunished. Then he goes back to the dislike of Philip Fulmer. He said he's persona non grata in the state of Alabama. He's a symbol of everything the Tide fans hate about Tennessee, and it's well earned. It says 20 years before the glorious run of Nick Saban. It was a pretty darn good run. I got to give him that. I guess if you live in Alabama, it's glorious. Said Fulmer wanted to put Alabama out of business. He almost got his wish. Says Alabama fans have always hated Tennessee. Then he went into the 15 consecutive wins over Tennessee, of course that. Then he comes in and he says, what would the SEC even be missing? Sure, the Vols had a great baseball program. Nobody cares. Said the two main revenue sports, football and basketball, wouldn't miss a beat. The Vols haven't won a natty since 27 years ago. The streak is now too old to be listed on its parents' health insurance.
How dare you!
Said the basketball program, while consistently good, has never made a Final Four. It's true. Made the last two Elite Eights, though. It's not too shabby. Says the Vols are trying to gain a competitive advantage any way they can. What they've obviously been doing is not working, so they're willing to pretty much do anything. So, yeah, it looks like the Bama Hammer would love to see Tennessee jettisoned out of the SEC. And I don't know, do you think maybe this has a little something to do with Tennessee winning 2 out of the last 3 years?
Oh, well, there's strikes 2 and 3 right there.
Yeah, maybe just a little something. They may be a little bit butthurt about that. See, when you're used to being on top, and then all of a sudden, a team that you're used to beating comes up and beats you 2 out of 3 years, that can make you a little angry and a little bit bitter. But really, they shouldn't be mad at the Tennessee Vols. They should be mad at Vanderbilt, because I'm pretty sure they handled them last year. Sorry to have to bring that up, but Vanderbilt currently is the Alabama state champ. Beat Alabama and Auburn. Never thought I'd see that day. So I think there's just some hurt feelings down there because, look, Nick Saban's not there anymore, you know? And when you're used to being on top, it's just hard to take that step back. But you can't be on top all the time. You know, eventually you're going to get knocked off your roost.
It's good to be the king.
And NIL has played a huge role in that. And like I said, I don't blame Nick Saban for retiring. Look, he'd won everything he could win. And on top of it, he couldn't control things anymore. NIL changed everything. I mean, he was losing player after player, and recruits would come to him and say, look, how much am I going to get paid, and how much playing time am I going to get? And that didn't sit well with him after, 30, 40 years of coaching and never having to worry about that. So anyway, we'll see how this all plays out. But I can tell you right now, Tennessee is not going to attach themselves to this House versus NCAA without an escape hatch, because it boils down to this. They believe collective bargaining is the only solution and the only answer.
I'll say it. We got a camera on us. I don't really care at this point. Collective bargaining is the only issue. It's the only solution.
It's the only way we're going to get there.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And that's pretty much the way the NFL, NBA, NHL, all the professional teams handle things, because that's how you avoid antitrust litigation. And if you lose a lawsuit in antitrust, the damages are tripled. And Tennessee, the university, does not want to have to pay out tens of millions of dollars worth of fines and fees to individual athletes because they get sued. They also don't want to have to spend all their time in a courthouse. They've already spent enough time in there kicking the NCAA's butt. So anyway, there's a bunch of Bama folks down there who aren't happy and like to see Tennessee out. Now, not all the Alabama fans are that way, but the Bama Hammer is not happy, and they want something done.
Damn it! That's twice! I want some butts!
I wouldn't hold your breath. I'll just say that. So I did want to bring you all this charming news today. If you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Lets me know to continue to cover all this big college sports news. If you've not subscribed to Boom Boom Boom, hit that button right there. Won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk J. Those Bama Hammer people, they're over there. Oh.
I'll turn this damn bus around. That'll end your precious little field trip pretty damn quick, huh?